The Bayou region in Red Dead Redemption 2 is infamous among players for its eerie atmosphere and relentless dangers, instilling a sense of fear and unease unmatched by other areas of the game. The region consists of bayous and swamps fed by the Kamassa River flowing south from Roanoke Ridge. It is often cloaked in perpetual mist and thick with hardwood trees and mangroves. The region evokes this almost constant haunting mood that sets the stage for its many unexpected encounters. Traversing this area can be slow due to the massive deposits of silt and mud flowing from the river. The water is stagnant and slow moving and full of lurking alligators and venomous snakes. But it isn't the wildlife that makes this region particularly dangerous. Venturing outside of the few safe havens within the bayou, such as the small fishing village of Lagras, the player is often met with hostile human threats and strange occurrences in the mist. It's a place where the line between the natural and the supernatural blurs, amplifying the fear that something could be lurking around the corner at any moment. In this video I'll explore some of the encounters that take place around the Bayou and Bluewater Marsh, including one encounter that until recently I'd managed to miss. What I love so much about the Bayou compared to other areas within this game is the haunting atmosphere. The constant chatter of insects is often only broken by a distant animal call or sudden movement within the water. Even in the daytime, this creates a constant tension that makes every visit to the region feel perilous. I wish I could go back and experience this for the first time again, because nothing hits like that initial journey. Especially if, like me, your first playthrough you avoided all videos, first looks, IGN articles and just dove in completely blind. If you want a true Bayou experience, I recommend flipping into first person mode and taking a walk through this entire area at night time. The atmosphere, the eeriness, that unsettling feeling is all dialed up to 11. And that brings me onto the first chapter within this video, the Night Folk. Red Dead Redemption 2 has its fair share of gruesome and violent gangs, particularly the Murphy brood and the Skinner brothers, but to me the Night Folk were the most unsettling of them all. Lurking in the murky swamps, this feral, almost zombie-like group are unpredictable, they attack in groups, often catch the player off guard, and are deeply violent. But why are the Night Folk so terrifying? The Murphy brood do all of the aforementioned as well, so what sets them apart? To me, the answer lies in something as humans we experience called the uncanny valley phenomenon. This is an unsettling fear of things that appear almost human but fall short, triggering a negative emotional response. This response is likely due to our brains' struggle to reconcile the recognition of human-like features with the realisation that something is not quite right. Now, I'm not suggesting the Night Folk aren't human, but there's one thing missing that differs them from every other group within the game, even the Murphys. And the game explains this during a Find Night for It, a stranger mission which takes place at night in the swamp. During this mission, an old Cajun man sitting at a camp requests help in evicting the Night Folk which have invaded his home, and it's here he explains why the Night Folk are so terrifying.
Them Night Folk could put me on a pipe. They got their paws on me. Hang me up on a hardwood hammock. Boy, I'm lucky I ain't dead as it is. Night Folk. Oh, they bad people. Bad folk. Animals. A lot of them. You know, I ain't never heard no Night Folk speak. There's not been one peep out of no Night Folk. Not that I ain't heard it, at least. Imagine not uttering a sound. Can you fathom that? What kind of evil don't make no sound? It's bad, all right. Bad.
That hit the nail on the head for me, the complete lack of any human speech. Not the body strung up on trees, not the violent signs they've been in the area. They feel almost animalistic in nature. A small sense of humanity stripped away, which makes them feel otherworldly and deeply disturbing.
I knew this fella. Good fella. Didn't deserve this. Now come on.
Although encounters at night are far more frequent, don't rule out an ambush in the daytime as well. My first encounter with them was this one, the player coming across a man hanging from a tree. Approach this poor soul to trigger a Night Folk ambush. If you can avoid it, don't let the Night Folk near you or your horse, because there are two other dangers which set them apart from other gangs, which I will discuss shortly. If you dispatch of the Night Folk attackers, don't forget to return to the corpse to retrieve one of a few missable notes, which show that it's not only the Cajun population which fear the Night Folk, but the city dwellers as well. This one reads, "Dear Parker, if you believe these night folk are a thing of fantasy, then you will have no qualms about spending an entire evening from sundown to sunrise out in the bayou. If you can, then your fraternity brothers pledge to give you $50 for your efforts, which we hope will be returned to us in steak and wine at one of the finest eating houses in St. Denis. If you are braver than me, tales of their silent, creeping, ghoulish murderousness make my blood run cold. My spine is trembling at the mere image of it. Good luck, and I look forward to hearing you tell the tale, if you make it back that is. May fortune favour you, Chuck." I mentioned earlier that there are two other dangers which set the Nightfolk apart. Well, what are these? Firstly, the Nightfolk are one of only 4 enemies in the game that can kill the player in a single hit, regardless of statistics. They are also the only rival gang to have random encounters that specifically revolve around targeting the player's horse with the intent to kill it. These two factors are why Nightfolk ambushes are particularly dangerous. Let's experience another random encounter, the woman in white trap.
Ma'am? You okay, ma'am? Talk to me. I'm not gonna hurt you. Oh, shit!
There's that single hit kill I mentioned. Ouch. One particularly gruesome event involves a dismembered horse laid out on a cart. This was the second or third time I'd come across this horse at night in the swamp, but the first time involved another of the Nightfolk traps, and why you should pay particular attention to keeping them away from your horse. You can hear the Nightfolk whistling here, and my horse was spooked and bolted. This was the first time I'd come across this random event, so I stayed to look around first. But after hearing more Nightfolk clicks and whistles, I realised the danger my horse was in, so I headed out into the swamp.
Come on.
Time for an ambush.
Shit, God damn it.
I don't know how he survived that first shot, but he did. At this point though, it was a case of just getting to my horse and fast, and this is the danger I was referring to.
Easy, easy.
My horse was
You're
lucky this
gone.
time. This isn't an extensive view of all the Nightfolk encounters, but hopefully shows why they make the Bayou such a dangerous place to traverse. Murderous Nightfolk aren't the only strange occurrence in the treacherous swamp. One particularly chilling encounter only happens on foggy nights between the hours of 9 PM and 3 AM, on the curve north of Lagras in Bluewater Marsh. Along this road, the player may hear the pained voice of a woman crying out for her lover, and this is the story of Agnes Dowd. The story of Agnes is a tragic tale. Agnes fell in love with a man that her parents did not approve of. She would meet him in secret by an old tree in Bluewater Marsh. After he impregnated her with a baby boy, he abandoned her for another woman, exposing her relationship to her family, much to their disgrace, and leaving her unwanted by other male suitors. Although Agnes was eventually able to dissuade her lover from following his other relationship, she was unable to convince her mother and father that he was worthy of her. This ultimately resulted in the elder Dowd drawing a weapon and killing her love, to Agnes's horror. The course and conclusion of this violent confrontation are unknown, though it is implied that following this event Agnes had a mental breakdown and murdered her family in revenge, before finally hanging herself from the tree she used to meet her lover at, hoping he would find her there in death. A gravestone bearing her name can be found just behind Shady Bell, among a group of tombstones. It reads, "Agnes Dowd, age 19, tragically took her life and others." The first 2 or 3 encounters with Agnes, the player will likely hear her, but not be able to see her, as she cries out for her lover to come back to her, to come home. On subsequent visits after this point, she'll be visible, a ghostly figure in the mist, reliving the events of her life story which led to her death in a random order. Rockstar included a whopping 16 different encounters with Agnes, including a chilling finale where she addresses the player directly.
She never loved you. She never did.
Our third chapter doesn't involve an encounter as such, instead a location and the events that take place here. This is the Bayall Edge Shack, sat on a small peninsula which is curled into a lake, northwest of Kaliga Hall. Upon approach, the facade of the building appears worn and derelict. The interior, however, is quite the contrary. The inside is dark, with numerous paintings scattered around the floor, and all around the room are strange phrases. On a table next to the mirror there is a map of Armadillo with the phrase, "I offered you happiness or 2 generations, you made your choice." Over here is a nightstand with a limerick carved into it about Jimmy Brooks and whether he lived or not. There are other strange messages such as "the water is black with venom," and this one in the corner, "his final toll will sound my greatest coming." But what is it about this seemingly abandoned shack that is so unsettling? Well, the cabin changes. The paintings picturing animals around the cabin alter depending on the player's current honour level. Eagles and bucks for high honour, vultures and coyotes for low honour. And in the centre of the room stands an unfinished painting, which gradually becomes more complete as the player visits the shack. The player can pay 4 unique visits in total, with the 4th visit only available after the epilogue, in which the portrait shall be finished in a chilling finale. To better understand why I found this location so unsettling, I highly recommend watching the 2022 BBC remake of the brilliant short horror story, The Mezzo Tint.
That's quite the feel of the Romantic period. And the figure...
That skeleton, whatever it is.
The picture changes. You must have got it.
The Mezzo Tint.
The 4th and final chapter in this video revolves around an encounter that until recently I had unknowingly avoided, and this is the encounter with Sonny at his shack south of Lagras. If the player travels near his shack, he can often be heard calling out, luring you in, and I'd heard this many times, I'd just never been inclined to investigate further.
You must be real lonely out here, friend. Hello, mister.
So, you hungry, huh? I got food. I got food inside. Come along.
Well,
If you've ever travelled to the Aberdeen pig farm, you'll know why warm welcomes aren't always so warm or welcoming in Red Dead Redemption 2. But this time I thought, why not, let's see what happens, and what came next was shocking.
Now come here.
Don't you hate old Sonny now? Don't hate him.
What? Oh, you struggled. And you lost. But it was quite a tussle, I tell you. Quite a tussle, my pet. See? Friendship ain't so tough.
And neither is you.
Oh, my Lord.
The game never explicitly states what happens to Arthur in Sonny's shack. Some NPCs will occasionally bring him up in conversation, but I mean, it's pretty obvious what happened, isn't it? We don't need to spell it out. Let's go give Sonny another visit, shall we?
Not you again.
And he's not nearly as happy to see Arthur this time, likely in the knowledge that we won't fall for his facade a second time. Where are you going, Sonny? Let's have ourselves a little chat, shall we?
Only one of us walking away from this.
You can just barge your way in should you wish, but staying outside reveals additional conversation between Arthur and Sonny, where the latter pleads for him to go away.
Dead. It's your choice. Go away. This is a mistake you won't live to regret. Please just go away. Shit!
Not so tough are you now, Sonny?
Stay away. Why is folks so mean? Turned into a bad day for you, mister. I hate you. Get lost. No, don't.
Sonny shows how much of a weasel he is when it comes to direct confrontation, and he hasn't drugged, knocked out or tied up his victims. Above his bed are some shackles, if you needed further evidence of what he does here. Most of his dialogue consists of pleas to the player to leave him alone, but occasionally he will slip back into the predator.
You sure know how to put a smile on Sonny's face.
I thought about how Arthur would probably deal with Sonny though. With a knife? Nah, that's not violent enough. How about the shotgun? Nah, I think that's too quick. Maybe Arthur would drag his ass through the swamp.
I don't want you near me. Stay away from me.
Or feed him alive to the gators.
I don't want you near me.
Or maybe he'd just tie him up in his shack and burn the whole place down. And that's the end of this video. Murderous gangs ambushing victims, ghostly figures in the mist, strange shacks and sexual predators. The Bayou sure has its fair share of dangers hidden amongst its swamps. Rockstar did a great job in making each of the regions within Red Dead Redemption 2's map feel unique. Every biome of the US feels represented in some way, and the Bayou is one of my favourites, even with its many dangers. Are there any random encounters I missed out that you think are worthy of inclusion? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Mike the Gaming Dad, and I'll see you next time.